Welcome to our session today.
It is really wonderful to be here with you.
Today, we are going to explore a very interesting shift. It is a shift in how people choose to live and work. We are looking at a movement of professionals. They are leaving big, loud cities. They are leaving places like Toronto and New York.
Right. They're searching for something different. They're looking for a second city.
Hmm.
Or perhaps a town closer to nature where life is calmer.
Exactly. But it is a big change.
It sounds like a nice dream. But honestly, it makes me wonder. People move to cities like New York for a reason. They go there for the energy and the careers. If they leave, are they giving up on their ambition?
That is the central question. For a long time, we believed in something called the ambition tax.
The ambition tax, that sounds difficult.
It is. This is the idea that you must suffer high rent, you must endure crowded streets and constant fatigue just to be successful. But the reality is changing.
So the ambition tax is becoming too expensive to pay.
Exactly. We are seeing a clash between two different things.
Hmm.
On one side, there is that old ambition, the idea that you must be in a metropolis to matter. On the other side, there is real life.
Right. And real life requires health and peace and rest. People are realizing that success isn't just a job title.
That is a big shift.
So success is being redefined.
It is. Success is no longer just about a busy schedule. Now, success includes peace, it includes time with family, it includes having control over your own environment. Because of this, small cities are becoming real options for living. They aren't just places for holidays anymore.
I mean, I see the logic, but it feels risky to leave the center of the action. Can you give me some real-life examples? Who are the people actually brave enough to make this move?
Let us look at a few specific situations. First, imagine a young couple living in New York City. They are doing everything right. They work very long hours, they have prestigious jobs, but the cost of housing is so high that they cannot afford a decent life.
They're likely stuck in a tiny apartment, right?
Exactly. They are squeezed into a small space. They realize that despite their hard work, they cannot grow. So they begin to look for cheaper homes. They look for places that are a few hours away from the city. They realize they can have a better life if they move. They aren't giving up. They are just trading stress for space.
That makes sense for a couple. But what about someone who is single and career-focused, like an IT professional?
That is where technology changes everything. Think of an IT professional living in Toronto. She has a job that allows her to work remotely. She does not need to be in the office every day. She starts checking job boards, but not for Toronto.
She's looking for work in smaller cities.
Yes, she is looking for positions in smaller Canadian cities. She wants to keep her career, but she wants to leave the noise behind. She realizes that her laptop works just as well near a forest as it does in a skyscraper.
Remote work certainly changes the rules. But I wonder about families. Usually parents stay in the city for the schools and the culture.
That used to be true. But priorities are shifting. Think about a family with young children today. In the past, they might have stayed for the nightlife or the museums. But now they look at their daily life. They decide they don't need nightclubs. What they really want are safe places for their children to play.
I suppose a forest is a better playground than a sidewalk.
It certainly is. They choose a town near nature. They want their children to grow up with grass under their feet, not concrete.
That sounds lovely. But what about creative people, designers and artists? Don't they need the city for inspiration?
You might think so, but consider a designer. She loves city culture. She loves art. But she finds that the city drains her energy. She feels most grounded and most stable when she is in a village by a lake.
So she needs the calm to create.
Precisely. She starts to plan a life where she can live in that village full-time. She realizes that constant noise kills creativity. Silence feeds it.
That is a powerful insight. And what about young people, the new graduates?
This is surprising. Think of a new university graduate. He goes to the big city to get experience. He wants to learn and grow his career, but he makes a plan. He decides he will leave after 5 years.
So we have an exit strategy before he even starts.
Yes. He treats the city like a university. You go there and you learn, and then you graduate to a better life. The goal for all these people is the same. They want stability. They do not just want fast career growth. They want a life that feels steady.
I understand the who now, but I want to dig deeper into the why. We touch on money, but is that the only reason? Why is this happening so strongly right now?
Money is the spark, but stress is the fuel. We call these push factors. These are the things that push people away from the city. The reasons are practical, but they are also deeply emotional.
Let us talk about the practical side first.
First, of course, is the cost of living. Housing is the biggest expense, but it is more than that. People desire space. They want clean air. and they want daily access to nature. They do not want to wait for vacation to see a tree or a river.
That makes perfect sense. But can you describe the specific stress? What does it feel like to be pushed out?
Certainly. Let us look at the situation of a renter. This is a woman who rents her apartment. Every year her rent goes up. It becomes more and more expensive, but her salary stays the same. She feels constant financial pressure.
That is a terrible feeling. It feels like you are running on a treadmill, but you never move forward.
That is a perfect description. Now compare that to a remote worker. He looks at the real estate market. He realizes something important. For the price of that treadmill life in the city, he can buy a whole house in a small town. He can have a garden. He can have space for a home office.
It is a logical financial decision, but it is also an emotional one. A garden changes your mood.
It does. And for parents, the stress is about safety and freedom. A parent might notice that their children play indoors all the time. They stay inside because there are no safe open spaces near their apartment block. Moving to a smaller town gives the children the freedom to play outside.
That is so important for childhood. What about the stress of the daily routine, the commute?
That is a major factor. Think of a nurse. She works in a busy hospital. Her job is already stressful, but her commute to work is loud and crowded. She stands on a train or sits in traffic for an hour. By the time she gets home, she is exhausted.
She has nothing left for herself, does she?
No, she doesn't. She is too tired to cook or clean. If she moves to a smaller city, her commute might be only 10 minutes. That changes her entire day. She would have energy left to live her life.
It seems like remote work is the key that unlocks this door for many people.
It is. Remote work creates freedom. Location becomes a choice, not a rule. You can choose where to live based on what makes you happy, not just where your office building is located.
This shift in living seems connected to how people spend their free time, too. If you change where you live, do you change how you travel?
Yes, you do. The way people spend their weekends is changing significantly. People are avoiding long international flights. They are tired of airports and long lines. Instead, we're seeing a rise in quiet life travel.
Quiet life travel. I like that phrase. It sounds peaceful.
It is. These are wellness trips within 100 miles of home. The main desire is to disconnect. People want to disconnect from screens. They want to turn off their phones and get away from the noise.
So instead of go to a loud tourist city, they go somewhere silent.
Exactly. Imagine a group of friends. Usually they meet in busy bars or restaurants, but this time they book a cabin near a national park. They decide to do a digital detox.
A digital detox. That means no phones, right?
That is right. They leave their laptops at home. They spend the weekend cooking and talking and walking in the woods. It is a way to deepen their friendship without distractions.
That sounds very refreshing. It sounds like they're actually connecting rather than just shouting over loud music.
Precisely. Another example is a couple living in the city. They drive just 2 hours to a farm guest house. They go there for slow food. They eat fresh meals from the farm and take long walks. It is simple, but it is restorative.
Does this apply to single people too? Or is it just for couples and groups?
It applies to everyone. Think of a solo professional, a single person who has a busy career. She goes to a coastal town by herself. She uses the quiet time to think about her life goals. She uses the space to reflect on her direction.
That is a powerful way to use a weekend. But does this travel connect back to moving?
It does. There is an interesting pattern. Think of a busy manager. Instead of going to a new place every time he visits the same peaceful area repeatedly, he goes back to the same village or the same lake house. Over time, it feels like a second home.
And I imagine he starts to ask himself a question.
He does. He asks the big question. He thinks to himself, if I feel best here and if I feel happiest here, could I live here permanently?
That is a dangerous question.
Yeah.
Once you ask that, it is hard to go back to the noisy city.
It is. And that brings us to the concept of finding stability on your own terms.
On your own terms. That implies that we stop listening to what other people tell us to do.
Exactly. It means designing a life that fits you as an individual. It means you stop following society's rules about what a successful life looks like. You create your own balance.
So stability is not the same for everyone.
No, it is not. For some people, stability is a safe job in a regional city. They want a routine. For others, stability is flexibility. It is the ability to change their schedule.
Can we see some examples of this custom-made life?
Of course. Let us look at a software engineer. He keeps his remote job, he earns a good salary, but he moves to a small city. His rent is lower, but the real benefit is his evenings.
because he isn't stuck in traffic.
Right. He spends his evenings outdoors, he finishes work, and immediately goes for a bike ride or a run. He has reclaimed his time.
He has the best of both worlds, high salary and low stress.
Exactly. Or consider a teacher. She chooses a medium-sized city. She wants good schools for her career, but she also wants hiking trails nearby. She balances her professional passion with her love for hiking.
That sounds like a very healthy balance. It is not just about work.
It is. There are also people like content creators.
Well,
A writer or a video maker might live in a quiet coastal town. They have peace to create. They only visit the big city for special events or meetings. They treat the city as a tool, not a home.
that is a very smart approach. Use the city for what it offers, but do not let it drain you.
That is a great way to say it. There is also the situation of pairing for family. A couple with aging parents might move. They want to be near nature, but they need to stay close to hospitals for their parents. They find a town that offers both.
That is a very responsible choice. It balances care for self and care for others.
Yes. And finally, think about the entrepreneur. Someone who wants to start a business. They reduce their expenses by moving to a cheaper city. Because their costs are low, they can take a risk. They can start a side business.
So moving to a cheaper place actually fuels their ambition. It does not kill it.
Exactly. That is the key point. Success is now a mix. It is a mix of career and health and calm surroundings.
This has been a fascinating discussion. It really makes you think about your own choices. It seems we don't have to choose between success and happiness.
We really do not. Let us take a moment to slow down and summarize what we have discussed today. Professionals are leaving expensive cities like Toronto and New York to find peace in second cities. They move because of high costs and stress and a desire for nature and more space. Travel habits are also changing, with people choosing local quiet nature retreats over international trips. Ultimately, people are redefining success to include mental health stability and a balanced lifestyle.
That is a very clear summary of the movement. It seems we have used some specific vocabulary today to describe this.
We have. Let us review 10 key words from today to help lock them in.
That is a great idea. The first word is ambition.
Ambition is a strong desire to achieve something, typically power or wealth or status.
For example, many young professionals still have strong ambition, but they pursue it in smaller towns.
Our second word is redefining.
Redefining means to define again or differently, or to change the meaning of something.
For example, adults are redefining success by focusing on mental health and free time.
The third word is grounding.
Grounding means making someone feel stable, calm, and connected to reality.
For example, a walk in the forest can have a grounding effect after a busy week.
Our fourth word is retreat.
A retreat is a quiet or secluded place in which one can rest and relax.
For example, a weekend retreat in a mountain cabin gives space to rest and think.
The fifth word is stability.
Stability is the state of being stable, not likely to change or fail, and financial security.
For example, moving to a second city can bring financial stability because daily costs are lower.
Word number 6 is lifestyle.
Lifestyle is the way in which a person or group lives.
For example, many people choose a